If you watch right-wing media, if that is what you consume in any form, what is it that you believe happened this past week?
You believe that the deep state, which not just the extremists on the right, but the mainstream Republicans now believe that this was sort of the next step in their plan to persecute Donald Trump, and not just Donald Trump, but then that they would then come after you next. That's what you believe, and it doesn't matter what part of right-wing media you watch. It's one of the few weeks we've had in a while where there's almost uniformity, whether it's Fox News or Talk Radio or Alex Jones. They're all saying the same thing, and that's what you believe. You believe this was just another step in a big plot to come at you.
I want to play just a little bit of what Fox News viewers heard from their network this week so that we can understand what it is that the base is processing. Take a look.
Trump said nothing and did nothing to trigger any criminal charge on January 6th. Any. His crime was believing and saying that the election was rigged. That's what they want to send him to jail for.
Now, the timing of this indictment was coordinated to take the heat off Biden. Astonishingly, after these political war crimes have been perpetrated on him, Donald Trump is in the best position he's been in so far to win re-election. Can you believe that? At which point he'll have to pardon himself immediately. And don't you think for a second he's not going to unleash hell on all of his political enemies. This is only the beginning of politicians putting other politicians and their families in prison.
Okay, so I'm so sorry to ask our viewers to watch that, but I think it is important because what you see at the end there is this mainstreaming of the idea of retribution.
That's it, revenge. And that's sort of the fuel that's here. And I think that Democrats, I'm out in the politics world, but if you're in the politics world, I think they shouldn't discount the importance or the power of that as a motivating factor here. Because it wasn't just Jesse Waters at Fox News. That was a very big narrative all across the right-wing echo chamber, was that this is it. This is why you have to get out there and vote, because Donald Trump is going to be your mechanism for revenge against all of these people. And that, I think, is a really powerful motivator. So they're not just spinning all these lies and conspiracies. They heard about the damage of disinformation. They're also giving people a call to action. And the call to action isn't immediately violence, but they are priming that pump as an ends justify the means. But their first call to action is to make sure that they are ready to vote, to rally around Donald Trump in the election. And you're seeing that play out right now. It is, I've been doing this for a while. This is a very scary moment right now because it doesn't feel like it's boiling over, and it's not, but it is a roaring simmer. I mean, just one more degree and the water's going to be everywhere.
I mean, you look at the polling, and some of that is borne out. A recent Reuters poll found that among Republicans, 45% said they would not vote for Trump if he were convicted of a felony crime by a jury. 52% wouldn't vote for him if he were in prison on Election Day. I mean, your sense of how Republican voters are actually looking at the legal processes against Trump?
They're looking at it as sketchy. And if you notice that, one, that it's part of a plan, but then two, the ones that are sort of on the margins, the skeptical ones, this is where the sort of idea about those attacks on the judges take hold. That's poison that's being put into the system to start to move some of those more, I don't know if they're moderate necessarily, but some of those Republicans that are not entirely, fully on board the Trump train yet, because it's basically saying, fine, if you don't believe all the other stuff, well, she's not experienced. Oh, and by the way, she used to work with Hunter Biden, which, by the way, is totally fabricated. They're just making that up. But that's a claim that's out there right now. So you put that poison into the system, and let's not forget they have a delivery mechanism. It's not just the right-wing media. They have all these QAnon figures and all these individuals that are spreading these ideas by word of mouth. They're just putting the poison into the system and one by one plucking off the individuals on the margin, because there are no antibodies in the system against this type of misinformation, this type of disinformation. And the process that led up to January 6th is playing out very similarly right now in the right-wing media. I'm not trying to be alarmist about it, but this is just a reflection of what we're seeing every single day.